everyone, Kai here. Today I'm going to be watching the second episode of the second season of Classroom of the Elite. And last episode was a very solid start to our new season. We're still on the cruise ship, so still having a pretty good time. But as is per usual, we can't just have a simple good time, right? It can't just be a relaxing cruise ship. We got to have exciting game challenges, tests, whatever you want to call it. We have to have it. And this time we opted for something like even more complicated than the island survival trip, because we have did they have a name for the game? I don't know, but basically the main gimmick of it, if you want to call it that, is the fact that it's not just class versus classes, which is what the island thing definitely was. It's a nice little mix of people from each class, which I'm definitely curious what the logic of that is. Maybe it's to see how they prioritize, whether they want to prioritize their group, the temporary formation, or their class, the more permanent formation, right? But also the fact that it's distributed like amongst multiple groups adds kind of an extra layer of depth to it, because that's kind of what Class A is doing, right? Because the only real group we have focused on so far is the Mars class, or Mars group rather. I don't think we even know what group anyone else is in, really. But Ayano Koji is definitely part of the Mars group, which is 3B, 3A, 4D, and 4C, I think. And there's some familiar faces there. We got Ayano Koji, obviously, in Class D. We got Ichinose in Class B. We have Ibuki, I think her name is, in Class C. I don't think she said anything at all in any of the discussions, but she was technically there. We also had... who else did we have? Oh yeah, Karuizawa from Class D, of course, and she seems to be a bit of a focus, for sure. She had some whole drama stuff with some Class C girls. The three girls that are also in the Mars group, which is what makes me kind of suspicious about their motives. Like, I don't know what that was about. I don't know if what they're saying actually happened. And maybe it did happen. Maybe it happened, but Karuizawa was not the girl that was in the story, right? What I do know for sure, though, is that they handled it wrong, if that was the case, because rather than going to her, confronting her, accusing her, taking pictures, you're in the same team, like the same Marsh team. You could just, where she's going to be at any given time, or, during the discussion period. You could just take the girl that made these accusations and say, okay, Rika, I think your name is this the girl that you were talking about? Much easier, much simpler, much better in pretty much every way than whatever their method of was they actually tried. So that just went absolutely horribly. But yeah, as far as like Class A goes, they're being uncooperative as expected, because they definitely have a different sort of mindset when it comes to these games. For Class D, it's yes, if we play our cards right, we can do well and maybe work our way up in the hierarchy and all that. Whereas Class A, those are already at the top of the hierarchy. Their prerogative is to maintain the status quo, and they're the only ones that pretty much think that. Because even Class B, Ichinose, they're somewhat similar position as Class A, where they're already at a pretty good status, and they also have lower amount of people in the Mars group than in DNC. Still very much trying to go for that preferable, like objectively best option being the Case A scenario, where everyone gets 500,000. I think it said private points, right? And double that for the VIP. That's like objectively the best option, unless you're just have some other agenda besides helping your overall team, like prioritizing just helping your own class. Of course, for that you'd have to actually do the betrayal and all that, but or just utilizing the law of averages, I guess you want to call it that, where you assume the VIPs are evenly distributed between the classes, and if everyone does the same thing of like kind of just letting the VIP do its thing, then everything just kind of balances out, mellows out. Nothing too bad or good will come of it, right? The Class A strategy, but that's obviously a very boring option, so nobody else is really up for that, I don't think. So it'll be very interesting to see how things go. I hope we get to see some of the other teams, right? And I don't think we even know a single VIP at this point, right? Like, I think we confirmed, Ayano Koji wasn't when he kind of showed his to Suzune, right? So they're not VIPs. So what class even is the VIP in the Mars group, I wonder? Like, I was thinking maybe it's not Class A, because I feel like they would act a little bit differently if they did. But it could just be a thing where their VIP hasn't revealed even to his own classmates that he's the VIP. But I don't know. There's really no evidence to really do any good accurate speculation on who the VIP is. But either way, hopefully we get some good information on who's doing what's happening in this episode. So yeah, let's just jump in and see how things go. 3, 2, 1, play. Impatience and indolence. Oh Well, yeah, also we've had 2 discussions so far out of the 6. I see you're doing your own thing, as usual. I can see that. Do you have to do it here, though? Okay, that's what you're referring to. Okay. Had me worried for a second there. What do we know so far? Okay, well, there you go. I guess that's something. Definitely helps us for that to be the case. Gives us an advantage. Oh. Oh, okay. Well, that's something. Okay. Oh, really? Okay, well, I guess some groups would be like that. I mean, Koen-G is always screwing things up. I don't expect anything from him anymore. Not since the island. He just, like, whatever gets him out of the thing the fastest seems to be his prerogative. You definitely don't want to make him part of your strategy. That's for sure. Oh yeah, that shot. How over the top evil can you look? I didn't even notice before, but we have that like optical illusion staircase thing in there too. I have seen that in other contexts. Also, the Go board, I think it was. I think it said Baka on it, like spelled out into pieces. I have to go back and look at that, but it kind of looked like it. Is this a joke? Probably not. Can anyone stop him? Is it even possible? Like, yeah, don't be unreasonable. Gonna murder him. Yeah. Yeah, what group is she in again? I want to say Mercury. Well, yeah. Hopefully we can at least do well, though. Yeah. Right. Yeah, Karuizawa and Susan are very different people. Belligerent. I'm sure there's a lot more to learn about Karuizawa for sure. we can get that phone away from her for 5 minutes. Good question. And we definitely have to talk to her one way or the other. Thought I heard footsteps. Of course, it's this jerk. Can you just, like, go away? Of course you are. Or it may not. You seem pretty confident in the last test, remember that? Don't contradict me. Yeah, that's all I need. Of course he would do something like that. Really is a tyrant. He definitely doesn't lack confidence, that's for sure. I mean, did you expect a different answer? Just episode 2. The answer's probably no. Would not want this man whispering in my ear like that. Yeah, like, we really can't trust you, I mean... Is this Karuizawa's room, or... Yeah. I thought I recognized it. Yeah, there's definitely a lot going on with Karuizawa. Until I have a good idea. Pretty sure people already think that, but whatever. They look like a couple in both of those sets, really. Are we gonna walk in on someone? Kushieda? He was confirmed to be one of the VIPs, right? Yeah, Kushieda. I think it's like Kushieda. But I try not to. I'll be going now. Rather not be alone with you if at all possible. I was afraid of that. Oh no. This can't go anywhere positive. Okay. Why would I care? You sure sound it, yeah. Okay, we have our Class B teacher. And, you know, other people, too. It's good to hear. I still want to hear about it. He's a pretty interesting guy, I mean. You know, she was already pretty cute. I think she's even more cute when she's drunk. Yeah, our self-proclaimed parasites. That is a legit concern. Never know what those Class C bitches are gonna do. That's what they said. At least we get confirmation that she is the girl. What a thing to eavesdrop on. Oh. What does that mean? Yeah, that was definitely something for him to eavesdrop on. I mean, helping you and being your, you know, loyal white knight are a little bit different things, Karuizawa. Yeah, you sure make people want to help you, don't you? See, that scene alone gives you much more of an idea of her character, for sure. Not long enough. Yeah, now that he mentions it, They never really gave me that much of a couple vibe. They're just not who he is, I guess. Everything. So that's a lot for Ayana Koji to take in. How's that going to affect how he handles things, I wonder? At least now he has a lot more information to go on. The other one. You really should look at people when you talk to them. Like 10 seconds earlier than you. At least she was. So we're starting our third discussion, is it? There's a Class C squad. Just to clarify, Karuizawa doing what they accuse her of, that doesn't really make me like the Class C squad anymore. Just make that clear. They're still unlikable regardless with the way they handle everything. Because without question, that is not how you handle that situation. Yeah. Mostly just going around not really discussion because of the deadlock. We'll see if that ends up changing. Yeah, fourth discussion. I mean, just in general, Class C just look so unfriendly, don't they? I mean, Class A to an extent as well, but they just more come across as cold, for lack of a better word. I suppose a Class C just kind of comes across as malicious. And especially the middle one there. But yeah, if Karuizawa doesn't do something, they're going to definitely escalate things, and I am a little worried about that. Could you make it any more obvious that you're tailing her? As you know, they tail them. Where did they go? I think I heard a door close. To make up. Well, yeah, but you're lying. And not yet. Do you think the school would care? I'm sure you did. You're really not making the situation any better. That's one of those things you can't really know one way or the other. I mean, not right this second. Okay, she has a nice face, so please don't insult that. Really, we're just getting enough on that note? Okay. Okay. So you really not continue the game stuff too much, since obviously the only team we're focusing on is in a deadlock for the past couple discussions. Still a great pose from Suzune. I think Yuki has the best pose in this overall bit. You really can't beat that. I mean, Suzune tries, but there's just no competing against that. And yeah, nothing after the ED. Okay. Okay. God, this episode, I'm not even sure what to say, really. It's such a mess of a situation in regards to the Karuizawa stuff, but... Okay, so is there really anything to say about the game? I mean, what's his name? Koenji, whatever. He, as usual, is being himself, just screwing things over, getting out of the games as fast as possible to work on his body or something. He's a weird one. I don't really know how to describe him. But, you know, there is that. We found out that Kushida is it's a VIP, I believe, right? And Jupiter is now out, because Jupiter was the one that Koenji was part of, right? So there is that. And, yeah, really not too much to say about game advancements. Like I said, still very much a deadlock, except for the fact that Class C, the leader of Class C, he seems to be very confident, thinking he's got things figured out, and trying to offer some kind of, like, alliance sort of thing with other classes, you know, sharing of information, right? But we don't trust him at all. Like, we're not going to work with him easily. Suzune hates his guts that much, like, pretty much like I do, so that's obviously not going to happen. He talks about how he just, like, takes everyone else's phones and stuff. Just definitely a very, very blatant tyrant. So, like, there's really no arguing against that. But that's really about it. Like, there's a brief thing with Kushida. I don't really have much to say about that. Like, I don't really like her at all ever since that one scene in Season 1, right? And scenes like that just makes me kind of hate her more, really. But we also had a nice little bit with the teachers, right? That was great. Getting to see her be all drunk and stuff, and I'm sure there's some interesting stuff there. Like there was something mentioned about something 10 years ago. I don't know if we know anything about what they're talking about there, but if not, I would like to learn more about that. But as far as like big reveals go, the fact that Kaguya-Izawa and her boyfriend are not actually boyfriend and girlfriend, it's just a fake relationship for the benefit of her essentially, and that seemed to kind of crumble there really as soon as he was no longer a obedient servant to her, which is essentially what she wants, not a boyfriend, like a white knight shining armor that will do what she says. She says jump, he says how high. That's what she really wants, but he's clearly not willing to be that, and that's why it kind of gets to the point of being broken down. Right. As far as Kaguya-Izawa herself, like the show's really pushing the idea that this is not who she is, that she's putting on a front to try to be strong or whatever. I don't know however they want to phrase it. But she also admitted to actually doing the the pushing, bumping thing, whatever you want to call it. Like that is so not a big deal. I mean, if you do it, you should apologize. Let's make that part clear. But like at one point they said something about like telling the school wouldn't care. Like you think she's gonna get suspended for bumping or shoving someone? Like no, like that was kind of ridiculous. And when Kaguya-Izawa basically told them about telling the school, they're like, we haven't hurt you yet or anything like that. And then like I don't know, less than a couple minutes later, they very much start doing things that the school would start to care about, or at least talking about doing things the school would care about. So just a lot of logical issues and with some of this stuff, but yeah, the bullying itself really such a complicated mess. It's really hard to really comment on it, right? Because plenty of bullying in fiction, stuff like that, it's usually pretty one-sided, who's at fault, and right, the bully's a bad person and all that. But here they're definitely deliberately trying to make it more complicated than that, where like she did something wrong, they wanted an apology, she never gave it, right? And then things just and then not only did she not give it, she denied doing it to begin with. Like I would have a bit more respect for her if she just said, "Yeah, I did it. It wasn't a big deal. I don't really care. Can you fuck off?" If she did that, I would have actually respected her more than being like, "I don't know what you're talking about," right? That I would have preferred that really, but no, she just like starts to kind of be sort of honest as they continue to push things, right? But yeah, regardless of who's at fault and who's not, it's not a fun thing to watch for sure. And Ayano Koji and somebody else, who I don't know, somebody was with him. Basically, yeah, they're just taking the passive, just watching approach. I'm not sure exactly what Ayano Koji expects to get out of this, really. But, hopefully he does some things before they escalate too much, But, yeah, as far as, like, one of the girls said something like, how did she phrase it? All I wanted was an apology, I wasn't gonna do anything more than that. I'm paraphrasing, but she's just something like that. But like, you can never actually believe someone when they say that, right? It's very much possible that she could have apologized and she would have said that's not good enough and continue to escalate things anyway. If you've ever been on the internet and dealt with like people that tried to force an apology out of someone, out of some internet celebrity or whatever, right? Even if they do apologize, it never actually solves anything, right? Real life is a little bit different than that, of course, but still, you can never believe someone when they say all they want is an apology, because at that point they just take it as an admission of guilt, and then they feel more justified in doing bad things to you because you admitted to being bad, right? So whatever they do, they're justified in doing so, that kind of logic. So that's why you can't really rely on an apology actually solving things. It sometimes does, but you can't really rely on that, depend on that. But, yeah. That's that, really. As a result, I don't really know what to even say during those scenes, right? Because both of them are being stupid, right? Handling things wrong. But, yeah, Ayano Koji is there, so, like I said, things shouldn't escalate too far, really. And hopefully Ayano Koji can, I don't know, help in his own weird way, right? I imagine he'll do something, right? And I know he doesn't really care about his classmates as friends or anything like that, but I gotta assume he would still do something to help. Obviously not be her just white knight like is what she wants, but do something to help the situation. But yeah, that's pretty much all to really say about the episode. Not too much advance with the game just yet. We didn't really get too much more information about the game. It's really been just focused on Kaguya-Izawa. And hopefully next episode we could resolve things with her, whatever that means. Deal with things. But I don't know. But that was the episode. That's all I really had to say about it. So thank you for watching, and hope to see you in the next video. Until then, bye-bye.